But, of course, we do these just in counterfactual universes, and what we'd really like to have is a theory which tells us that in some ensemble of universes or spaces, there is some range of these numbers, and there may be correlation between them. And we're very, very far from ever having some theory like that.
Wow.
Menschensohn, du wohnst inmitten eines widerspenstigen Geschlechts, das Augen hat zu sehen und doch nicht sieht, und Ohren hat zu hören und doch nicht hört.
Well, that's what this pyramid does. The pyramid is forcing us to consider what we're afraid to consider.
Right.
What people like me are saying, no, please. But there you are. That's how science works. You know, do we either brush it aside and say, no, you know, I don't want to get into this, or we pursue it. And now I finally decided at the ripe age of 68 to pursue it, because if it does produce something as unexpected as the speed of light and other things, as crazy as it may sound, and we don't pursue it, then in 1,000 years or 2,000 years, people will say how arrogantly stubborn we are,
right.
How absolutely blocked we were, that something so glaring in front of us was ignored because of our bias.
Right.
Once upon a time. Da, 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 da.
Oh, storage solution. That's sexy.
You don't have to buy it, you just have to sell it.
Some physicists have suggested that the universe, the laws of physics, the fundamental constants of physics are fine-tuned in such a way as to bring us into existence. We have a message from outer space coming in. There are physicists who will tell you that if you take about half a dozen physical constants, these are constants that physicists have no explanation for, they just accept that these numbers have the values that they do, and they then do theoretical calculations using their models to say if any one of these half dozen constants was ever so slightly varied, then the universe as we know it would not be possible. For example, if the gravitational constant was a little bit different, there would be no stars, there would be no galaxies, the entire universe would just be a uniform splurge of hydrogen, for example. You wouldn't have stars, you wouldn't have chemistry, you wouldn't have the formation of the heavier elements, you couldn't have life. And they do the same trick for half a dozen other physical constants. A good example is Martin Rees, the present Astronomer Royal, in his book Just Six Numbers.
Wow. 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 Wow.
The duty of a scientist, if he's going to express an opinion, is to do his homework first. And if he can't do that, he should keep his mouth shut.
If the universe, if the constants of the universe are indeed fine-tuned, how do we explain it? How do we explain the appearance that the universe is tuned to bring us into existence? Well, theists say God did it. God twiddled the knobs and tuned the physical constants to have exactly the right values. That, of course, is no explanation at all, because it leaves unexplained the tuner. It's just pushing the problem back one step. So we can instantly discount explanation number one.
Oh, a storage solution. That's sexy.
You don't have to buy it. You just have to sell it.
This universe we live in, scientists have discovered some remarkably strange things about it. So strange, they're having to use the most disturbing principles to describe what's going on.
There's this most extraordinary thing about the universe that we've come to take completely for granted. The universe is governed by various laws of physics. We've discovered some of these laws. We know the law that makes atoms. We know the laws that make stars. We know the laws that make the most distant galaxies revolve around each other. The extraordinary thing is not that there are laws, but that we can understand them. Why should we be able to understand them? It's almost as if whenever we land on a new and unknown planet, the inhabitants come up and speak to us in English. Why should the laws of the universe be understandable by us? Well, either it's a fantastic coincidence, or there's some deep reason why it had to be that way. And if it had to be that way, then we occupy a very special place in the universe indeed. And that's the strong anthropic principle.